Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Playing Gaming. It's suddenly on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Echo Flynn's Path. So y'all think big things are going to go down in this episode today, so oh boy, hang on to your butts. It's probably going to be a wild one. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Into the flames we go. I can't even tell where it's coming from. Wherever I go, the burning follows. I'll see a doctor about that. The fabric of my clothes ripples and the seams begin to snap away. Some of it falls to the floor while the rest clings to my body like new skin. Even the air I breathe burns, making my insides boil. This isn't in my head. This is real. I'm burning. I flail into the darkness, running now. After a while, it feels like I'm practically gliding. I hear a sound and move toward it. Fucking help me! I utter, my voice raspy and light. Footsteps. There are several of them in a bonfire. I see the silhouettes of people running, flailing about just like me. Panic everywhere. A woman, Genevieve Sanders, the mail carrier, is standing above the fire. A gun is in her hands. Salem's body is burning. Beside her is Auntie, face down with a bloody hole in the back of her head. No! I pinch myself, trying to wake up. I pinch so hard I feel the scale in my arm split in half, and blood that seems like it's boiling pulls from it. It quickly evaporates, and all that's left is a mark of reddish-pink flesh beneath scar tissue. I look up, and she's still standing there, mouth agape, like she's frozen, but her eyes follow me in real time. She sees me. But it's like she can't act. Why? Fucking why? I receive no answer from the horrified visage. She's still holding the gun. She'll do it again. She'll do it again. Stop her. I lunge, and it's like she's made of sand, flesh dissolving away beneath my claws as I touch her. And then it's like a rope wrapped around my wrist yanks me back. The wind is like sandpaper against my burning head as I fly through blurred shapes and silhouettes. What did I do? Was that real? Oh God, Auntie! Jesus fuck, what's happening? Next thing I know, I'm in front of City Hall again, though everything's different. There's a crowd gathered around the large tree outside, and their clothes are all old-timey like. Men in suspenders, women in prairie blouses. Their faces are furious blurs, polygonal masses of fur and teeth that seem to exude their emotion more strongly than their distinct facial features. A Masetta Finnick stands upon a wooden stool with a noose wrapped around his neck, the priest next to him reading his last rites. The man is so angry, so hurt. Tears like waterfalls down his matted yellow cheeks. Someone hurls a piece of hardtack that hits him square in the jaw, but he doesn't react. The cries of the crowd are obscured, distorted, something about a child or children. There's a man at the edge of the crowd, a ram, the one the Finnick is staring at. He looks like Carl. The ram pivots on his hooves, turning to walk away, but stops when he sees me, his expression vacant. The Finnick shouts indiscernible hatred at the man, and just then the stool is kicked out from beneath him. As he sways, feet kicking and driblets of piss cascading down his overalls, it's as if the ground itself begins to bounce. It's something so palpable and awful that it's beyond words, that I can feel within my mind more readily than the burning of my flesh. Second, y'all. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Let's jump right back into it, shall we? Because this is not a good part. Oh boy. The stony faces of the mob seem completely unaware that their actions are feeding something far greater than they will ever know. I'm sucked away again and feel my scales fall from my body like black and orange confetti. My thudding heartbeat is becoming increasingly irregular. I'm standing behind a shelf now. There's someone in a hoodie next to me, but he doesn't notice I'm there. He's got a camcorder. I think it's Salem. He's younger. A large bear, larger than me by a couple inches, steps out from what looks like the bathroom door. It's Brian, a meth dealer who lives on a trailer on the outskirts of the old city limits. I see him at the smoke room sometimes. He deals there. Neither of them are looking in my direction. I soon see why. There's a Finnick on what looks like a rack nearby. One of his eyeballs is gone, but he's still alive. On the television behind Brian, a slideshow of grotesque images flashes by. One of the Finnick's missing eye on the smoke room counter. It's like the place was closed, so nobody could walk in and see what they were doing. In the real world, the Finnick's words are garbled and distorted as if coming from an old VHS. He's feigning love for the bear, asking for him to hold him tender, like instead of whatever else he has planned. Finnick's face becomes increasingly blurry. Is that Danny? Casey, Keith? There were so many. They blur together. Salem's grinning, the reflection of his camcorder screen leaving a stark glint in his eyes. I feel myself move out from behind the shelf beyond my own will. There's a rumbling pull in my gut. I'll be pulled away any moment now. Oh shit, this seems important. I mean, the Fennec seems okay, other than missing an eye. Let's see, attack Brian. Brian sees me, his eyes going as large as saucers. They're real! Is all I can get out before my hands pass through his gut. The hairy flesh seems like it practically disintegrates at my fingertips until I notice that it's all splattered on the wall beside me. As I'm pulled away, I can just make out the tusked, smiling face of Salem. It's full of shock, but the smile remains, and so does the maimed Fennec. I gasp into the void, the fresh blood mixing with my own. Oh shit, what happens if you... Hey y'all, what does this do? I'm kinda curious. Yeah, Brian's fucking evil. Attack Salem. My scarred body lunges, and suddenly Salem's eyes no longer glint. Second, y'all. Full circle. They're real! As I'm pulled away, I can just make out the astonished face of Brian. It's like he's in awe, a sense of knowing underlying his fucked up features. I don't see what happens to the Fennec. Who is the Fennec, though? My scarred body lunges and the Fennec's head is crushed. The brain and all the fears and pain contained within gone in an instant. They're real! As I'm pulled away, I can just make out the astonished face of Brian. He looks like he's in awe, a sense of knowing underlying his fucked up features. Salem doesn't take his gaze off the camcorder screen. I'm gonna fucking kill Brian. Good. Fucking die, you piece of shit. I gasp into the void, fresh blood mixing with my own. My actions no longer feel entirely my own volition. It's like something pulling in my skull. Like back at City Hall when I condemned Chase. We make the justice we're given. I pop back in front of the familiar ram and salamander, like all that happened was some horrible vision. But my body feels the same, and the gaping expressions of the duo show no sign of relief. Carl. I can barely make the noises with my throat the way it is. I can practically feel my vocal cords snap away as I speak, letting me only exude a guttural growl. I reach out to him, seeing the sinewy red appendage my arm has become. The tunnel shakes around me. Carl and Dax both turn and flee, Salamander screaming his absolute lungs out. I'm terrifying to them. As they're about to round the corner, I see Carl hesitate. He looks back to me. I can't see his expression, and I can't call out to him. I have to let him know I'm still in here. With some strained effort, I turn my wrist around and close, all but one of my fingers. The ram continues to stare as the rumbling increases. I'm pulled away once more. It goes on like this. At each stop, I lose more of myself, mentally and physically. Each vision that appears before me some new unspeakable evil I hadn't fathomed existing. From time to time, I let the thing inside my head take more and more control. Sometimes I don't have the control in the first place when the suffering is strongest. Where Sam thrives, he drives. Like my body, I become numb. All but my vision and hearing is gone, and they're swiftly fading too. I keep closing my eyes, waiting for it to end, but it doesn't. I can't die. I hear the soft pitter of feet on a rocky embankment. Somewhere down the way, stones are being skipped. Clap! Someone threw in a big one, then sniffling, followed by a low sob. Crying has become so familiar to me, I hear it more than anything else, it feels like. It's like singing, isn't it? Purest expression of emotion. Fuck you. But this one is more familiar. To me as well. I can just make out the audible sound of little pebbles rolling down a hill, followed by a heavy thud. I turn to see a faint gray silhouette with big blue eyes. What? The voice hits me like electricity. This is it. I'm what he saw that day on the beach by the outlet. Finally. He screams. They always scream. I have to follow him. I have to see it. I descend beneath the waves, and I see excess fat drift from my body into the tidal current. The water is abrasive, and I'm able to glide through it, swimming without swimming. Something pops, and suddenly I can't see it from my left eye. There's white water ahead, thrashing movement. A slight bit of reddish-pink mist dissolves in the current in front of me. No. No! I strain myself to hear, trying to keep absolutely still. But other than the faint occasional splash, there's nothing. Eventually, the splashing stops, and I know my best friend is dead. I rest in the current. The voice in my mind is fortuitously silent, not pressing me into movement or action. And though my eyesight is gone and my skull punctuated with nothing but empty sockets and orifices, I see something. Bright blue eyes and starry skin. It's Daxton. I'm sure of it. He does not move, though I can read the intent in his eyes that he very much wants to. Instead, he remains motionless, and we stare at each other. I imagine speaking to him, telling him what's happened to me. My words are rambling, my mind not what it used to be, but it doesn't seem to matter. He meets my gaze regardless. I ask him if Carl's alright, and of course he doesn't respond. I simply state that I hope he's okay. I go on and tell him about all the crap the Ram and I have been through, about how much I hope he fucking makes it out decently enough. I'm sure they'll give him another shot at the interview on account of town-wide madness. I tell him I hope it's over now, wherever he is. And finally, I apologize for what an absolute ass I was to him, when he deserved goddamn none of my angsty bullshit. He never shows any indication of understanding or even blinking. Most surprisingly of all, it feels as though hours pass and the hysteria simply holds on, whisking me away. No rumbling, no fire, no screeches into sudden chaos. Just a slow, eventual feeling of drifting away somewhere else. Somewhere dry. There's a telltale sound of a hot water heater rumbling nearby. It's humming away. Someone must be taking a shower or it's laundry day. I feel the vibrations more than I actually hear the thing. Then, a faint whimper. The sound is stifled, as if the upset individual is trying to hold back tears. It's high-pitched, feminine, a girl. The distortion is only slight. I bring my hand up and feel wooden slats, and when I push harder, the whole surface bends and holds outward. It's a closet door. The stifling stops. Slowly, I hold up my hand and do a small wave, gentle movements, as I'm sure the distortion is making it look faster. It's quiet. All I can hear is the water heater in the girl's room. There's a shuffling of sheets and small footsteps. Hi. Her voice is timid. There's another long pause. Are you real? I think for a moment. Then slowly I shake my head. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, what the fuck? Okay. Alright. Best guess here is that... Okay, best guess here is that Flynn... Oh, I love the art right there. Flynn somehow merged with the presence, I guess? I guess he opened himself up to it, and it took control. Or maybe Flynn was never actually there. Huh. No, it just makes me think. Maybe Flynn was just a fleeting thought of possibility. Like a wisp on the wind. Real for a moment and then gone. Nah, I think Flynn was actually real. I think something a lot more nebulous happened. Super, super Lovecraftian. Unknown. It's the great, horrible unknown. It's the fear that gnaws in the back of your head when something inexplicable happens that you cannot explain. You tell yourself that it was just a trick of the mind. There's nothing there. But what if there is? What if there is something there? And we've just trained ourselves over the years not to acknowledge it too much. Maybe that's what Flynn represents. Stay a while. 5 years later. Oh, yes. Oh, sweet, this is Arches, I believe. Seriously, this is gonna be such a good fucking time. You'll be glad you came. The big grizzly bear nudges the coyote playfully, almost knocking the canine to the passenger window. Ow, keep your paws on the wheel, or your paw at least. Cameron eyes the giant, half-eaten burger in the bear's equally giant paw. Dev's other paw casually steers the wheel, elbow resting out through the open window. The bear looks happier than he's been in a while, somehow grinning as he chews. The coyote sighs and stares out his own window, watching the desert landscape fly by. There was nothing like this in his hometown, and he found himself wishing he was back amongst the pine forests. Something he'd been wishing since he moved to Pueblo for school. Technically, this was his natural habitat, but he found the whole place depressing somehow. Empty and dry and rough. What you pouting for? I'm not pouting. Yeah, you are. Cameron sighs, deciding to change the subject. So, why couldn't Larry go again? I don't know. Said something about his car breaking down. I think he just flaked, though. Aren't there other haunted places in Pueblo that we could have gone to, like by the school? The bear shakes his head, letting go of the wheel to crumple up the foil that had packaged his sandwich, tossing it into the back. I like Echo, dude. This place is the most haunted town in the entire fucking world. Cameron sighs once again, then suddenly grasps his seat as the car swerves and turns hard onto a smaller road, heading toward a big blue lake. What the fuck? Whoops, sorry, I almost missed the turn. The drive continues, and eventually the map on the dash chimes, indicating they've reached their destination. Why? Because a lot of shit happened here. The grizzly hops out of the car, making the entire thing tilt sideways as he squeezes his bulk out before reaching back in for the camera bag. He takes out a small, compact camcorder from inside and wraps it around his wrist. He flicks the switch and Cameron sees the familiar red recording light flashing. He points the lens at the coyote and he quickly covers his face, letting out a frustrated sigh. I'm not the horror you're after, Dev. With that, he unbuckles and slides out of the car. The bear waits for him, reaching out a large padded paw. Cameron takes it and is immediately drawn into a tight embrace and a kiss. The coyote tenses up for a moment, then waits until Devin releases him. Come on, can you not do that right after you eat a big greasy hamburger? Cameron makes a show of wiping his lips. Devin rolls his eyes. No pleasing you, is there? Nevertheless, the grizzly holds out his paw again and Cameron takes it, the two of them walking toward the town center. It's not a pleasant walk. Most of the infrastructure is in pretty shoddy condition, overgrown in places sagebrush and dry vegetation. So, where are we meeting this guy? I told you, the old civic building. Wait, you mean by City Hall? Cameron recalls the late-night rants with Devin over the phone, the bear regaling every last detail of the incident. Where they shot the mayor? Yep. The coyote releases his paw from the large clawed grip of his boyfriend, peering up at him with slightly wider eyes. Damn, are you absolutely sure he's okay with this? Yeah, look, he's the one who did the report on this town after the happening in the first place. Devin tries to put on a reassuring smile. He seems keenly aware that folks sometimes find his large predator grin unnerving, but Cameron always told him it was cute. And he's gay, so, you know. The bear wraps his paw around Cameron's own. No need to be worried about, that. Eventually, the two reach the old town center. Sure enough, there's a man standing in the gravel parking lot with his paws in his pockets. He doesn't appear to notice the two at first, and Devin takes the opportunity to film him from afar. The sun's behind him, so it casts his front in shadowed silhouette, giving him an eerie visage which he might be able to use in the video. The Civic building's roof is fully collapsed. A faded gray tarp over the top of the wall is all that's protecting the interior. Like most of the structures they passed on the way in, a laminated notice of condemnation stamped with the county seal is posted to the front door. After about 15 seconds or so, it's fairly clear the older guy is aware of the two college kids' presence as he cants his head in their direction. They quickly shuffle up, wearing sheepish smiles and already sweat-stained clothing. Chase? Yo! Hi! The bearded otter seems to be looking at their held paws, which they quickly unclasp and shake his own in turn. He offers them a sort of melancholy smile. You two been together long? Oh, sorta. The coyote rubs the back of his neck, the bear wrapping an arm around his shoulder. Yep, a while. Must have been tough growing up in the sticks out here, for a gay guy especially. Chase lets out a little amused grunt, reaching into his pocket and withdrawing a pack of cigarettes. Yeah, I guess. Max still lives down in Gretchen Way. You know about the old rail yard? Devin nods. Couldn't sell his property after what happened? Mm-hmm. Well, that and some other shit that we don't really need to get into. Oh, well, regardless, it must have been tough being the only gay kids out here growing up. He sniffs, looking off to the side. Y'all mind if I smoke? Go ahead. Yeah, plenty of fresh air out here, I don't mind. The otter nods, sticking the cigarette between his lips and flicking his lighter. However, he doesn't bring the flame up, instead just holding it out in front of him. The seconds pass, and slowly he shifts the lighter in the direction of the old Civic building. Cameron and Devin watch the otter expectantly. After everything he's been through, some oddball behavior is to be expected after all. So, I'm a big fan of your original report you did. Hell, I did my own little video on what happened when I was first starting my channel. I know, he used a lot of my footage. Devin begins looking a little nervous. Oh, I like that. The expression changed. Devin begins looking a little nervous, laughing some to try and lighten the mood. I credited you, of course. I'm just some haunting blogger. You're like a professional journalist and everything. Chase finally lights his cigarette. Was a professional journalist. I got pushed out of my reporting gig with Keikua like 2 years ago now. No one liked my stuff anymore. No matter what I did, it wasn't ever as good as that piece I finished in college. Devin blinks. I'm sorry to hear that. He pauses, thinking to himself for a moment. You know, those news media companies are all fascist shit factories anyway. Dev? Well, that big billionaire funding, they'd be going the way of the dinosaurs, relegated to sports and weather for senior citizens. Chase stares blankly up at the much taller bear, unsure of how to respond to that. Devin clears his throat. And your social media profile said you were still... I haven't updated that in a while. Chase takes a long drag from his cigarette, stopping at the first speed bump. He seems to become increasingly aware of the uneasy stares from the two college kids in front of him. Sorry, it's been a difficult few years for me. The statement from the otter makes sense, looking at him now. Yeah, we're gonna finish this bitch up. Y'all getting an extra long video. The statement from the otter makes sense, looking at him now. He's awfully haggard for someone in his mid to late 20s, his facial scruff untrimmed and the dye job looking less than stellar. Cameron can't help but think he'd be kind of cute if he cleaned himself up a bit. Or perhaps he just has a thing for sad eyes. He said sad eyes were fixated upon the Civic building now, Chase's lips thinning tightly around his cigarette, squeezing ash from the tip. The coyote steps up, placing a paw on the otter's shoulder. Hey, it's alright. We don't want to put any pressure on you. Right, Dev? Right. Devin sounds genuinely supportive. Chase can see why Cameron might be so taken with him. It'd be nice to have something like that again, and he finds himself relishing the paw on his shoulder. He didn't realize he was so touch-starved. Still, Chase can't help but avoid their reassuring gazes, the otter rubbing at the old spider bite mark on his neck. Let's begin, shall we? The trio began to head northward, past the burnt-out newer buildings that went up in smoke during the hysteria. Devin finds an odd-looking globe, broken in the middle of the road. Cameron offers to carry it with them, though Devin seems rather adamant about not looting anything. Chase doesn't appear to care either way. Eventually, y'all, I'm kind of curious as to how long this is. Hey, y'all, actually in the comments, let me know. I need to actually kind of stop it right there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there, y'all. Let me know in the comments how much longer this is, and I'm going to do a follow-up video anyway with the other story that I have yet to complete. Anyway, Thank y'all so much for watching this incredibly fucked up video. I'm tired, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love you all. Thank you all of our lovely patrons, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!